Ever wondered how China became the powerhouse it is today? The story is a sprawling epic, told through thousands of years of dynasties, each leaving an indelible mark on the world. Let's journey back in time and uncover the rise and fall of these incredible empires. Our story begins around 1600 BCE. With the Shang Dynasty, this wasn't just a collection of villages, it was the dawn of Chinese civilization. The Shang people were master craftsmen, creating breathtaking bronze vessels that we still admire today. More importantly, they gave us the first known Chinese writing system. Priests would carve questions onto turtle shells or animal bones, heat them until they cracked, and then interpret those cracks to predict the future. These oracle bones are the direct ancestors of modern Chinese characters. Society was built around city-states, and their religion was deeply rooted in ancestor worship, a tradition that continues to influence Chinese culture. Around 1046 BCE, the Shang were overthrown by the Zhou Dynasty. The longest in Chinese history, introduced a powerful new concept: the mandate of heaven. This was the idea that a ruler's right to govern was granted by the gods, but only if they ruled with justice and virtue. If a ruler became corrupt or incompetent, heaven would withdraw its mandate, and the people had the right to rebel. It was a brilliant political and religious philosophy that would legitimize dynasties for the next 3,000 years. The Zhou era was also a golden age of thought. TSCs, when 100 schools of thought blossomed, giving us Confucianism, with its focus on ethics and social order. Huism, emphasizing harmony with nature, and legalism, which argued for strict laws and state control. However, the Zhou's power eventually weakened, leading to a period of intense conflict known as the Warring States period, where powerful lords fought for control. Out of this chaos, one state emerged victorious: the Qin. In 221 BCE, its ruthless and ambitious leader, Zhang, conquered all his rivals and unified China for the first time. He declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. His dynasty was short-lived, lasting only 15 years, but its impact was monumental. To unify his vast empire, he standardized everything: weights, measures, currency, and, most critically, the writing system. This meant that someone from the north could communicate with someone from the south, creating a shared cultural identity. He also commissioned massive construction projects, including a network of roads and the initial foundations of what would become the Great Wall of China, built to defend against northern invaders. After the harsh rule of the Qin collapsed, the Han Dynasty rose in 206 BCE. This period, lasting over 400 years, is considered a golden age. So much so that the majority ethnic group in China still calls themselves the Han people. The Han Dynasty made Confucianism the official state philosophy, creating a system of governance based on merit and education that would endure for centuries. Science and technology flourished with inventions like paper and the seismograph. But perhaps the Han's greatest legacy was the Silk Road. They expanded and secured this network of trade routes, connecting China to Central Asia, the Middle East, and even the Roman Empire. Silk, spices, and ideas flowed in both directions, making China a true global player for the first time. After the Han Dynasty fell, China experienced a period of division, but in 618 CE, the nation was reunified under the glorious Tang Dynasty. This was another cultural peak in Chinese history. The capital, Chang'an, was the most populous city in the world, a cosmopolitan hub where merchants, monks, and diplomats from all over Asia gathered. Poetry and art reached new heights, with figures like Li Bai and Du Fu becoming legends. The Thames also perfected the imperial examination system, a rigorous series of tests that allowed commoners to enter the government based on their knowledge of Confucian classics, not just their noble birth. It was a sophisticated system for recruiting talented officials to run the empire. Following the Tang, the Song Dynasty came to power in 960 CE. While perhaps not as militarily dominant as the Thames, the Song was a period of incredible technological and economic advancement. This is the era that gave the world 3 revolutionary inventions: gunpowder, the magnetic compass, and movable type printing. This printing technology allowed knowledge to be spread more widely and cheaply than ever before. The economy boomed, cities grew, and a thriving merchant class emerged. Song ceramics, with their delicate glazes and elegant forms, are still considered some of the finest ever produced. However, a new threat was rising from the north. In the 13th century, the Mongol hordes, led by Genghis Khan and his successors, swept across Asia. His grandson, Kublai Khan, completed the conquest of China and established the Yuan Dynasty in 1271. For the first time, all of China was ruled by foreigners. The Mongols incorporated China into their vast, continent-spanning empire. This period saw increased contact between China and the outside world. The famous Venetian merchant Marco Polo traveled to China during this time and served in Kublai Khan's court, and his later accounts would mesmerize Europe with tales of China's immense wealth and advanced civilization. Mongol rule, however, was not to last. Resentment among the native Han Chinese grew, leading to widespread rebellion. In 1368, a former peasant and rebel leader named Yuan drove out the Mongols and established the Ming Dynasty. The Ming emperors were determined to restore traditional Chinese culture and erase the memory of foreign rule. They rebuilt and fortified the Great Wall into the massive structure we see today. They also built the magnificent Forbidden City in Beijing, the Imperial Palace that would be home to emperors for the next 500 years. The Ming Dynasty also sponsored incredible maritime expeditions, led by the Admiral Zhang He, whose massive treasure fleets sailed as far as Africa, decades before European explorers set out. The final chapter in our story of Imperial China is the Qing Dynasty, established in 1644. This time, the rulers were Manchus, a people from the northeast. The Qing expanded the empire to its largest territorial extent, incorporating Taiwan, Mongolia, and Tibet. For much of its early period, the Qing was prosperous and stable. However, by the 19th century, the dynasty faced immense challenges. Internal rebellions, like the massive Taiping Rebellion, weakened the state from within. At the same time, increasing pressure from Western powers, demanding trade and territory, led to a series of disastrous conflicts. After centuries of decline and mounting pressure, the last emperor abdicated in 1912, bringing an end to over 2,000 years of imperial rule and ushering in the modern era. From the oracle bones of the Shang to the fall of the last emperor, the story of China's dynasties is one of incredible innovation, cultural brilliance, and the enduring quest for unity and order. Each dynasty built upon the last, creating a continuous civilization that has shaped our world in countless ways. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through Chinese history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into the past. See you next time.